way of the future. The use of this clean, renewable energy resource is growing rapidly around the world. It's widely used throughout Europe, Asia, the United States, and Australia. Macarthur Wind Farm, the largest wind farm in the Southern Hemisphere, and one of the largest in the world, is located in the Western Districts of Victoria in Australia. It will generate up to 420 megawatts of electricity. That's enough energy to power around 220,000 Australian homes and abate more than 1.7 million tonnes of greenhouse gases each year. In July 2010, Vestas Australian Wind Technology and Leighton Contractors were jointly awarded a contract by the AGL and Meridian Energy joint venture to construct the $1 billion Macarthur Wind Farm development. Vestas and Leighton Contractors formed a consortium and worked together to safely deliver the project 3 months ahead of schedule.
And the reasons for choosing Vestas in the first instance was because Vestas was preparing to launch its V112, which was a product that was very, very suited to the environment that we were looking at building the wind farm. As a consequence of that, it actually made the business case look pretty good. With regard to having Leighton's on board, we understood from the outset the size of the civil works that was required, and it was something that we're very, very aware of from previous experience, and we really wanted to make sure that we had expertise at the right levels throughout the civils and then into the technical aspects as well.
The wind farm will contribute to the Australian Government's renewable energy target for 20% of renewable electricity generation by 2020. This video, Macarthur Wind Farm, Powering the Future, will take you on a 20-minute journey of this iconic project as it unfolded. Before investing in a wind farm, many factors need to be taken into consideration, such as the wind resource, expected generation, availability of existing infrastructure, community support, and approvals from the government. Local farmers in the district initiated the Macarthur Wind Farm project more than a decade ago. The farmers had accepted the fact that rainfall was hard to predict, but the wind in the district would always be there. It was this realisation that led them to begin their search for a partner who would help them realise their dream of clean, renewable energy, as well as provide an income stream that would support the district for years to come.
The wind farm started about 10 years ago when one of my sons and I went to Portland, where there was being hearings to build wind farms on the coast. And we told the wind farmers, the people that we wanted to build them, they should come inland. At that stage they didn't sort of take any notice of us, but some years later they started to come, and then what seemed to be really serious companies came, like Meridian and AGL, and because they're big public companies they seem to be the ones that were most likely to really do it, and that's worked.
AGL and Meridian have demonstrated their commitment to renewable energy through the development of the $1 billion Macarthur Wind Farm. The two companies each funded 50% of the capital cost of constructing the wind farm, making it the largest investment in Australian renewable energy since the early 1970s. Macarthur Wind Farm is located on 3 properties, which are used for sheep and cattle grazing. The location was chosen for its high potential wind harvesting capacity, its community support, and proximity to existing transmission infrastructure. Wind speed and consistency had been measured on the project site since 2003. Following extensive research and product development, Vestas Wind Systems AS, the world's largest manufacturer of wind turbines, proposed to install the newly released V112 turbine at Macarthur. These turbines had been specifically designed for low to medium wind speeds, similar to those found at Macarthur.
I think we did well. The time that we didn't build it, we actually ended up with a better wind farm. These machines are a quantum leap, technically, to the ones that everybody built 10 years ago, and I'm really impressed with them.
On-site activities began in August 2010. Leighton contractors worked with different stakeholder groups to agree on access roads through the farming district, as well as the timing of deliveries, speed limit rules, oversized transport delivery times, and other traffic management processes.
Leighton contractors brought their experience and capability to the vast civil works, which included turbine foundations, crane hardstands and roads. Leighton contractors built 2 substations as key components of this project. One at the Macarthur wind farm site, which housed switching equipment, power conditioning and control systems, and at Tyrone, which was the point of the connection to the national grid. Leighton contractors delivered the logistics scope and crane works, and it's fair to say that in a real spirit of consortium and best for project approach, Vestas assisted immensely in this regard. Vestas, of course, brought their experience, know-how and turbine technology in the form of the V112 3 megawatt turbine and sophisticated control and monitoring systems. Vestas continues to operate and maintain the Macarthur wind farm.
We had established the site on 1743 Macarthur Hogsdale Road on the corner block. We brought our site accommodation in from the plant yard in Melbourne. We also had to establish communications through a communications tower, and we set up all of the IT, the power supply, which originally was from generators, and then we brought in a permanent power supply through Power Core. All of that had to happen in the latter stages of 2010 before we commenced roads and hardstand construction at the beginning of 2011.
Just as things were progressing, the extreme rainfall between 2010 and 2011 began to have a serious impact on the project's activities.
A drought that had lasted for 10 years broke, and it broke significantly, and there was rain everywhere, and it rained and rained and rained to the point where we effectively missed a whole summer. It was absolutely horrific weather conditions to be building these in. But there was a highlight out of that. The highlight was that the contractors, being Leighton and Vestas, were able to continue on constructing, didn't lose sight of the schedule, continued to make progress even though it was difficult, and never ever lost sight of what it was all about.
As the on-site construction activities progressed, Vestas was manufacturing the nacelles and blades in Europe. At the same time, turbine towers were being manufactured locally in Portland and Adelaide.
With the addition of supporting local manufacturing jobs, Vestas also provided technical specialists to assist with the 2 local manufacturers to ensure high production and high quality, and also to ensure that we meet the Vestas stringent specifications. The end result is basically a high quality product, and also a product that is made in Australia.
Both Leighton contractors and Vestas understood the importance of local resources and support in a project of this magnitude. Up to 30% of people employed on the construction site were from the local district.
It's been good for not only the Port of Portland but for the local district, with the Macarthur job utilising local tradespeople everywhere they can, and including the local transport companies. So for employment it's been a good thing.
My trade background, I'm a mechanic. I started my apprenticeship up in Hamilton, spent 11 years doing my trade, and now I'm here with Vestas. Being able to sort of work at sort of something like this in our local area, it's totally new, and the opportunity just to get a part of it was just too good to be true.
To construct one wind turbine foundation, you need more than 400 cubic metres of concrete. This equates to 80 concrete trucks. To construct 140 wind turbine foundations, you need more than 56,000 cubic metres of concrete. A range of quarries was used to source construction materials, although the extreme rainfall meant extra quarry material was required. By the end of the project, quarry material trucks covered more than 4 million kilometres and delivered approximately 700,000 tonnes of quarry products. Imagine transporting 3 transformers, 420 blades, 420 tower sections, 140 nacelles and 140 hubs to the Macarthur wind farm site. Not only was the project team dealing with high value and extremely fragile pieces of equipment, this equipment was being transported from around the world.
The logistics of getting these huge components from around the world on ships and putting them on trucks, taking them to site and coordinating that with crane movements, tools, equipment, people, as well as coordinating with the civil construction of roads, foundations and hard stands. We only succeeded because we all worked as a team and to the same schedule.
Extensive planning and coordination, along with meticulous project management, were keys to the success of this mammoth logistics exercise. It's hard to believe activities between suppliers, transport companies, land, air and sea, and the construction teams covered 4 continents: Australia, North America, Europe and Asia. Given these activities were all happening at once, it was crucial everyone worked to the one schedule. This alone demonstrates Macarthur Wind Farm was truly a global project.
Stopping to turn left in front of the hotel to head out to the wind farm. Get you to bring her around the corner in the truck and dog and find somewhere to hold up. We can tell it's 5 metres coming out. All clear to the turn off. A couple metres out from it. Got enough room over you, mate? Yeah, mate, thanks, mate. Bring it back across. Fire, mate, when you're ready. Alright, on the roll, Tony.
In late 2011, Macarthur Wind Farm was honoured with a royal visit from His Royal Highness Crown Prince Frederik of Denmark. The visit was part of a 6-day Australian tour, which focused on renewable energy and sustainability. After flying into the local airport, Crown Prince Frederik's first stop was at one of the turbines under construction. Wearing a helmet and safety vest, the Crown Prince chatted and laughed with a group of VIPs from AGL, Meridian Energy, Vestas and Leighton Contractors. Before leaving the site, Crown Prince Frederik spoke with VIP executives, local residents, landowners, council members, project staff and school students. It may not have been a long site visit, but it was a visit the project team and the local community will never forget. The extreme rainfall during 2010-2011 continued to impact the project's construction activities. The large majority of wind turbine construction was carried out during the winter months, and wind, ironically enough, was preventing the massive cranes from lifting the heavy components. Heavy lifts had to be rescheduled around the on-site wind conditions. This meant carrying out lifts at night, further adding to the complexity of the job. As the height of the wind turbines under construction increased, so too did the risk. The safety message was communicated with workers at every opportunity, as there was no room for complacency. There were 1,120 lifts to join the tower sections, nacelle, hub and blades.
A number of new lifting equipment was designed for the Vestas V112 turbine. This allowed the workers to work safely and efficiently. In addition, we also work with members of the turbine construction team to help constantly improve our method of construction and most of all find ways to work more safely. This critical contribution from our construction team is one of the factors in making Macarthur a success.
Macarthur Wind Farm reached a significant project milestone when all 140 wind turbines had been constructed. This was achieved within 11 months, against all odds: excessive rain, loads of mud, high winds, extreme heat and thick dust. Leighton Contractors and Vestas, together with AGL and Meridian, understood the importance of embracing the local community and getting them involved in the project as much as possible. To ensure a better understanding of wind farm generation within the community, the project team engaged with local schools as part of an education program.
We're here from Hawkesdale College, which is about 15 kilometres down the road. We've got a group of Year 9 students here today and Year 12 and 7 students later on this afternoon. They're really excited to visit the wind farm, especially up close. Many of them live in the area and they've seen it gradually build up over the last few months, and it's great for them to be able to ask all the questions and find out more. They're really interested in the facts and the figures and how it's all being put together.
Leighton Contractors and Vestas jointly sponsored team jumpers and footballs for local football and netball clubs, Hamilton Imperials and the Macarthur Demons Cricket Club. Each company also initiated their own community-based projects.
We had 6 very good graduates on the project and gave them the responsibility of project managing the projects in both Macarthur and Hawkesdale. Through them, we delivered very successfully to some very satisfied customers in Macarthur and Hawkesdale, which was a win-win situation for all of us.
Global Wind Day 2012 was celebrated at the Hawkesdale Macarthur Football Netball Club. It was a great success, with over 500 people of all ages joining in on the celebrations across the day. Protection of the natural environment was always a priority during construction of the Macarthur wind farm. Early collaboration and ongoing communication with landowners was key to the success of the project. Regular meetings were held with landowners to keep them up to date on the progress of construction, as it was imperative construction activities were planned and coordinated around their farming requirements. Given the V112 turbine was new to the Australian market, Vestas made a significant investment and constructed a simulator on site to train their technicians. The simulator is the first out of Denmark and provides trainees with a virtual reality inside an nacelle. Technicians are trained for 1 to 2 weeks at a time. The simulator will remain on site for ongoing use. Commissioning of Macarthur Wind Farm was scheduled to take place over 7 months. However, a combined acceleration effort by Vestas, supported by Leighton Contractors, reduced this time to 3 months. For AGL and Meridian Energy, this meant completion of the project was almost 4 months earlier than the contracted date.
To meet our acceleration schedule, we brought in resources from the US, Europe, Asia, and wherever we have a regional office to work on the Macarthur project, either directly or indirectly. So it's been a huge team effort. As this is not just a Vestas Australian project or a Vestas regional project, but it is truly a Vestas global project.
The Tyrone substation was first to be completed and energised, as it supplied electrical power from the grid to carry out the final commissioning of the wind turbines. Following successful commissioning of Tyrone substation, the 132,000 volt overhead lines were energised to deliver power to the Macarthur substation. From this point, the electrical power was switched in groups to facilitate final commissioning of wind turbines. This activity commenced in September 2012, with all wind turbines energised and generating by December 2012.
I still recall seeing the first turbine spinning, and there was a cheer within AGL that it was happening for a project of this size. It was emotional. It was good for AGL and good for all concerned.
The success of the Macarthur Wind Farm project is testament to the hard-working and committed project team, subcontractors and suppliers, both on site and around the world.
The client is happy. Both Vestas and Leighton's have completed the project and delivered it extremely well, and again have demonstrated their capability in the renewable energy industry for the future of Australia.
Vestas and Leighton Contractors brought their respective knowledge and experience to the table, enabling the combination of best practices to safely achieve the best possible project outcome 3 months ahead of schedule.
There is no doubt that this was an aggressive schedule all the way through. It was a new type of turbine that hadn't really been trialled elsewhere. So it took a lot of courage to put that on the road. And the client did its bit in that trying to make sure that there was a sense of commitment, that we were there to assist, and I think that Vestas and Leighton actually responded perfectly in that environment. And I'm happy to say we're sitting here today with an operational wind farm.
Now that the wind turbines are complete and fully commissioned, there'll be up to 30 staff operating and maintaining the wind farm for its 25-year design life. This will provide long-term employment opportunities and associated benefits for local businesses and services. Macarthur Wind Farm, powering the future.